Okay, so I am live for another episode of the In the Hot Seat podcast, and in this episode, I do have this only for the YouTube channel and as well for Anchor and Spotify. So the video version and of course the audio version of the podcast, and basically more of an exclusive to the YouTube channel. So I do have quite a lot I want to be able to talk about. More of a topics video and as well getting into last night's knockout to knockdown from Impact Wrestling and getting used to the all new live stream on YouTube. And I actually like it. First time using it, I can see the chat this time, and everything looks a lot more widespread and bigger and clearer. So hopefully, I sound good actually. So this is the first time me going live for YouTube in quite some time, and especially first time going live on the YouTube channel. So thank you for watching on YouTube and listening to the podcast on Anchor and Spotify. So I think I'll get right down into it. And there's some of the stuff that I do want to talk about, of course, the King of the Ring tournament returning, and as well the debuting of the Queen's Crown tournament, which were actually clean tournament. So it actually has been refreshing to actually see that. It's a bit of a small tournament for both the men and the women's, but it's actually really cool to have the women's on this one. And like I mentioned, it is actually gonna be ending at Crown Jewel, so we'll see who will be crowned for both sides. At that point, the only thing I actually hope doesn't happen, there aren't any too many restrictions and everything in terms of that, since they're going to be going overseas again. So hopefully, things will actually go fine with that. Getting into who's in it on the men's side, briefly we got Rey Mysterio, Sami Zayn, Cesaro. On this one, we got Finn Balor, Kofi Kingston, Jinder Mahal, Xavier Woods, and Ricochet. And so far, the only two that were able to move on and advance as of right now is Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. And then we'll see who will actually be one of the people who will actually be at Crown Jewel, being able to be in the finals. So not a bad list, even though it is small. On this one, I really do think it's Xavier Woods' time. I know he's been pushing it and been wanting it for the longest time, and now that Biggie is WWE champion, and I've been hearing that most likely all of the New Day members will actually be world champion at some point. We already seen that happen. So it would really actually seem right to actually have Xavier Woods actually win the King of the Ring. I can see that happening on that part. So I thought it was interesting, definitely, to see Kofi Kingston and both Xavier Woods in this one. So I feel like, in terms of who's gonna advance, I feel like Sami Zayn, and then have Xavier Woods go on to beat Ricochet, which would be a fun match to see. Probably have Jinder Mahal beat Kofi Kingston, and Jinder Mahal and Xavier Woods could go on. Xavier Woods could go on to face Sami Zayn and actually win the King of the Ring tournament. I can see it go down that way. But if it doesn't, we'll definitely see where things could actually go towards that. If not Xavier Woods, then maybe Finn Balor. That would be pretty interesting to see as a actual backup. And then we get into the Queen's Crown tournament. Again, a small tournament. Who we have Tony Storm on this one, which is really cool. Selena Vega, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Dana Brooke on this one, Shayna Baszler, Doudrop, and Natalia on this. And I thought it was really interesting to see Selena Vega upset everything so far in the tournament. I was actually really wanting Liv Morgan to move on into the finals, but Carmella ended up winning, so we're gonna have Carmella and Selena Vega as of right now. So, um, if not Liv Morgan, which obviously she didn't get to move on in advance, which sucks. She's basically been on a roll lately. I can actually see Natalia or Shayna Baszler winning it as of right now. Overall, that's just how I see it turning out. And especially since Shayna Baszler has been on a path on destruction and kind of being like how she was in NXT and being a badass on for her singles one. So there's that. So that's a really good thing. Um, I've been wanting that for the longest time. So that was King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown tournament. So hopefully we get to see it back more often. That would be really cool. on that. So that's just my thoughts so far. Who do you see winning? Definitely leave your thoughts down below in the comments as well if you're watching this on YouTube. And as always, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And as always, to stay up to date on the YouTube side of things. And if you're listening, be sure to actually talk about it on my other socials, with my Twitter for the In the Hot Seat podcast, on Twitter as well, and for Instagram too. We'll definitely continue those discussions there. And getting into the draft briefly, who went where and stuff. I do have it right here. Of course, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman going to staying on SmackDown, so that is fair enough. Biggie also being able to go to Raw, that makes sense since he is the WWE champion. Charlotte Flair actually being on SmackDown, which is kind of weird because she is Raw Women's Champion. Bianca Belair going to Raw. Drew McIntyre going to SmackDown. RK Bro, rightfully so, staying on Raw, which is good. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, for that matter, going on SmackDown. Edge actually going to Raw, so I'm sure Edge and Seth Rollins, who also was drafted to Raw, will continue the feud there. We had also Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, aka Riddick Moss, on SmackDown. Nikki at ASH and Rhea Ripley on Raw. Basically, they can go on SmackDown since they are Women's Tag Team Champions. And one of the cool surprises of the draft, we got Hit Row being called up from NXT to go over to SmackDown. All of Hit Row, which is dope. I'm excited for that. That's going to be cool to see where things will go for them as a whole there on SmackDown, so that's awesome. We got Keith Bearcat Lee on Raw, so that's cool there. And Bearcat, the name, I wasn't too sure at it at first, but it's more of a serious side, so I actually like it so far. If I'm all honest on that, I was kind of getting more grown to it as of late. Naomi stay on SmackDown, same thing. Now that she's being able to deal with Sonya Deville, so that's really cool. And they're actually gonna have their match following, even though it's on SmackDown. Kind of curious to see where that's gonna go. The Mysterios or Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio on Raw now. Jeff Hardy now from Raw to SmackDown, so maybe we might see Willow finally actually show up since there've been rumors about that. So that'd be awesome to see. Austin Theory, cool that he got called up, but also sad that we won't see the way with Austin Theory now. I'm gonna miss that. So Austin Theory is back on the main roster and on Monday Night Raw. Also, we got Akira Tozawa on Raw. We got Aaliyah, which is really cool to see her be on SmackDown. We haven't seen her on TV basically too much yet, but uh, we'll see where things go there. So that's cool. Uh, Alpha Academy, then going on to Raw. Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz on Raw. Dewdrop staying on Raw. Uh, just to name a few as of right now. So, um, other things that we did get to see, Becky Lynch actually go from SmackDown to Raw, and actually basically announcing that as well. So, which is kind of interesting as well since he is SmackDown Women's Champion. So, we'll see how the championship. The Usos actually made me nervous for a little bit because I thought they were gonna get traded, but they didn't, so thank God. So they'll actually stay with the Bloodline and with Roman Reigns. The Hurt Business as a whole looking to actually stay in Raw, which is good. Sasha Banks on SmackDown, and I feel like she would actually get the SmackDown Women's Championship, have it stay on SmackDown, which would make sense. Like I mentioned, Seth Rollins on Raw, King Nakamura and Rick Boogs actually stay at SmackDown. Damian Priest is on Raw still, which is good. Sheamus actually moving over to SmackDown, and Xia Li from NXT actually getting called up, and actually going for SmackDown. Can't wait for that. That's gonna be cool to see there. So really happy NXT was able to be involved this time around, and hopefully that sticks uh, for next time for the next draft. Finn Balor on Raw now. Let's see where things are going. We still didn't really get a full answer on why Top Rope actually fell uh, when he was facing Roman Reigns as the Demon. So we'll see where things go for him as of right now. So that's basically it in a nutshell on what happened, who got drafted, and who's going where and everything, and to see where things are gonna actually play out. So again, with the championships being on different brands, it's kind of weird. I don't know if they're gonna do a swap or if someone's gonna win it and then eventually have it back on its respected show. So that's definitely a possibility to see where things can actually happen. Then we got the two for last night's Knockouts Knockdown, an all women's pay per view, and this one really enjoyable. I definitely highly recommend. And in this one, where we had a tournament to see who would actually win it and be able to move on and eventually get a title shot in the near future for the Knockouts title. So we'll go on to see who is in this tournament. So with that being said, where we have Rachel Elwing and Lady Frost for the first match of the quarter finals and to see who will be able to move on there. Rachel Elwing was able to move on. Chelsea Green and Renee Michelle in this one. Obviously, Chelsea Green moves on, which makes sense there since she was able to win the NWA Empower tournament there. So, no stranger to that. Then we had Mercedes Martinez and Brandy Lauren. Mercedes Martinez was able to move on, which is cool, and being able to see her on Impact. So I can see her doing definitely big things. Tasha Steeles and Jamie Senegal, definitely made me happy to see Jamie Senegal in this tournament. I really wanted her to win, but Tasha Steeles was able to move on, and Jamie Senegal had that heart and had that passion, and it really wanted me to have her win even more, and being able to represent Daphne and being able to pay tribute to her. She had the ring here, which is awesome. So unfortunately, she didn't win, and we had Tasha Steeles actually advancing and moving on. Now we took a little break, but we had Awesome Kong being inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is cool, and definitely congratulations to her, and thank you for Awesome Kong too for doing everything that she's done for TNA/Impact Wrestling, and she was able to retire most recently at NWA Empower, as a matter of fact. So definitely thank you for everything that she's done for sure. She definitely deserves it. And then we moved on where we had Deanna Perrazzo and Masha Slamovich and everything. And definitely Masha, I've been actually a fan of her as of late. Hopefully someone signs her ASAP for sure. And she gave Deanna Perrazzo a hell of a match, but Perrazzo came back and actually defeated her as well. Then we get into the tournament once again. Mercedes Martinez moving on to face Rachel Elwing. Mercedes actually moving on and advancing from there. Then Tasha Steeles and Chelsea Green were able to go at it, and a kind of a toss up at either or on that one. But Tasha Steeles able to move on there. So I noticed too, like every match that she did have was a different ring attire. I like that theme, and she was able to show that she can actually be able to handle her own in singles competition. And then we had, of course, the memorial match for Daphne and being able to have the Monsters Ball match. We had Savannah Edwards on this one, Alicia Edwards on this one. I should say, Joni Grace, Kimberly, and all on this one. And couldn't went really either or on this one. I was actually pulling more for Alicia on this one, but Savannah Evans was able to come back, and they actually used basically everything from the kendo sticks to the chairs, the steel trash can, and everything in between, the thumbtacks. Obviously, came involved, so it wouldn't be a Monsters Ball without it. So being able to see all that awesomeness be able to take place, and then have Savannah Evans actually be able to break out and actually win this match. Actually, it's really cool to see. So I'm curious to see what else they're going to be doing, not just with Savannah's competitor, but dealing with Tasha Steeles as well. Then we got into, of course, the main two who were able to win between Mercedes Martinez and Tasha Steeles, which is really cool to see two Latinas actually go at it on this match. And I couldn't have been any more happier and prouder. So I could have went really either or. These two definitely having a really cool back and forth match. And actually, Mercedes Martinez actually comes out on top. And I can see her facing whoever the Knockouts champion between Mickey James and Deanna Perrazzo would be. I'm sure we'll see Mercedes Martinez as well at Bound Glory. So I'm sure she will have a presence, be known, and actually watching the Knockouts title match very closely, so that the Knockouts tag team titles on the line, where we had Havoc and Rosemary out there, and as well taking on the Influence and Madison Rain and Neil Dashwood on this one. And at times it felt like I thought we were going to see a new tag team champions, but that wasn't the case. But the K were able to come back and be able to come back strong and actually retain and keep the Knockouts tag team titles. So that gets it to once again for Bound for Glory. We did see a sneak preview on who would be coming up next on the free agent scene that is now with pro wrestling. So it's an exciting time. You never know who's going to show up, and we did get to see who is looking to show up finally. Formerly known as the Iconics, the Inspiration, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, looking to show up at Bound for Glory, most likely wanting to deal with the K and get the Knockouts tag team titles, perhaps. I can see that. So anything can really happen there. I'm excited for it. I've been wanting to see them actually show up for a long time. And I know they're looking to show up at WrestleShow. Also looking to actually meet them and get a picture with them. That would be really cool to actually see them and meet them at WrestleCade. So I might do a podcast for that. That'll be next month around Thanksgiving weekend. So basically the WrestleMania of the Indies. If you haven't been to WrestleCade, I highly recommend it, and it's a really fun time. So definitely go check out WrestleCade with their past shows and look it up on their website and on their Twitter page and their socials. And it's really a fun time. It's really I'm looking to do like a podcast, special podcast again, like I did last time before the pandemic happened. So that'd be fun there. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. And of course, getting into one final thing before I go, and that is AJ Lee looking to actually be back in pro wrestling, and that's really cool. And looking to have the revival of Raw women's promotion and all women's promotion come back. I haven't seen it in a long time. I used to watch it a lot. So they've been on break basically, and they're able to come back. And not only do they have Tessa Blanchard on there, but they actually have AJ Lee looking to come back. I know she's not looking to do a wrestling role, but she's looking to be on commentary as of right now that I know of at the moment. So I'm happy that she's back. We already got CM Punk back in AEW and doing his thing there. Like he never even left pro wrestling. So, pro wrestling in 2021 is exciting. You never know again what's gonna happen. We got AJ Lee coming back. Even though it's in the commentary role, we got the Iconics now as the Inspiration, looking to be in the tag team division for Impact Wrestling at Bound for Glory. And we still got all these other stuff too with the open door. You never know who's going to show up where, what, and who is going to come with next and what they're going to do. So it's exciting. What are your thoughts on everything that I talked about? Leave it in the comment box. Again, if you want to see more videos on YouTube version, leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and looking to keep going up in the ranks, almost at 10 subscribers, looking to get more definitely for sure, and just keep grinding as always. So I appreciate your support, whether you're watching or listening for the In the Hot Seat podcast, and there will definitely be more. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Sunday as I'm recording this as of right now, the rest of your week for that matter, and I'll be looking to be back for Crown Jewel and Bound for Glory as well, and a lot more going into November, like I said, for WrestleCade weekend with that podcast, and as well for the Survivor Series in full gear. So I might jam all that together and come up with something pretty cool then. And until then, I'll catch you guys whenever the hell that next podcast may be. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and week. See ya.